Brian Fritz here with Alex Shelley, who on Sunday night, the Hardcore Justice pay-per-view for TNA, will be in the three-way match for the X Division title. He will take on Brian Kendrick and Austin Aries. So tell me a little bit about the match. Looking forward to that one on Sunday night?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Two guys I've known for a long time and two really good wrestlers. Yeah.
Does it make it easier when you've been with guys for a while, kind of when it comes to chemistry-wise and what to know to expect going towards a good match?
Definitely. I mean, number one, you know what they do. That's a big part of it. Like, they talk about scouting in football games and baseball games, basketball games. It's the same thing in wrestling. And then you kind of know their habits and their tendencies and their personalities as well. So
TNA's talked a little bit about a resurgence when it comes to the X Division. What's your thoughts about where the X Division is right now?
Man, I think it's pretty obvious that it's in a rebuilding process. But I think at the same time, I think the talent that's been in the X Division over the years speaks for itself, and I think TNA's always gone out of their way to bring in many different kinds of wrestlers from all over the world, whether that's guys from New Japan or some awesome luchadors like Shocker, or just really, really good wrestlers that haven't been discovered yet, like Generation Me was a couple years ago, you know. So I have full faith that they'll bring in quality opposition for all the other X Division guys, yeah.
Is it tough to keep up with everybody? Because it seems like there's so many different guys that come in and out on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of tough. It is kind of tough. Like the first time I ever wrestled, say, Robbie E, was just at this Ultimate X match at Destination X. So, I mean, he had been with the company for a year before that, but sometimes you just don't cross paths with guys.
Now, for you, you've been with the company for a long time. I mean, going back, you've been with TNA since 2004. You're like one of the original guys at this point. Does it feel like it's been that long?
I mean, it kind of does. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But here's a good example. About 2 years ago, right before we did Slammiversary at the Palace of Auburn Hills in Detroit, they had a special photo shoot, and it was a special opportunity for fans to buy this poster of everybody on the roster at that time who had competed in the Asylum. And man, it wasn't many people, and they even had to fill it out with referees and announcers, and you know, they were part of the company then too. If you did that now, it'd be half of those people too. So yeah, I've been with the company for a really long time. I try not to think about it because it reminds me how old I'm getting.
I was going to say, am I allowed to call you a veteran of the locker room?
Man, I don't know. It was, when I came in, I was easily the youngest guy. You know, everybody was at least a couple years older than me, and then sure enough, well, Jay Lethal comes in. He's a couple years younger than me. I'm still pretty young, and then Creed comes in, and then, you know, Generation Me comes in. It's like, wow, I'm starting to get up there, but I'm not 30 yet, so I still got that going for me.
There's always so much excitement when it comes to the X Division matches. Do you ever feel pressure when it comes into, especially with a feature match like this in a pay-per-view where it is a title match?
I feel pressure to perform to the utmost of my abilities, but at the same time, I don't feel any pressure to wrestle a certain way. I mean, TNA hired me for what I am, and I have full faith and confidence in my abilities as far as what I can do in the ring. So I just go out there and I have a chance to express myself creatively, however I see fit, and especially on a pay-per-view where you really, really do get a high platform for that. It's nice to have that kind of freedom in TNA.
Like you said, there is a lot of different guys that have been in the X Division that still are in the X Division. What do you try to do to make yourself stand out?
I think a lot of it has to do with just intangible things I don't really have to try at, per se. You know, Austin Aries is a good example of this as well. He's a guy who has a personality, and nobody told him to act this way. Brian Kendrick's also another guy, a unique personality, but nobody told him to act this way. So you just got to kind of reach inside yourself and pull it out creatively. If you're told to act a certain way, then you're always going to be trying to be something that's not natural, in my opinion. So for me, I think that the fact that I don't have to try to be something special helps me in the long run.
For the last few years, people have been used to seeing you in the tag team along Chris Sabin with the Motor City Machine Guns. Does it feel almost different now to be back as a singles guy?
Oh yeah. I mean, probably a year straight, I did nothing but tags, and you know, to get injured and then have to sit on the shelf for a few months, and then the day I come back, my partner gets injured too. It's like, man, just the worst luck possible. So then having to reformat everything when you go back to singles, because it is a different ball game. It's a bit of a challenge, but it's a challenge I enjoy too, and it's fun to do. You know, it's fun to do something different every once in a while.
Would you like to get the tag team back together once he's healthy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 1,000,000%. I think there's not a team out there that's better than us, and I don't think there's a team like us. We get compared to a lot of different teams, you know, the Rockers, the Hardy Boys, teams like that. But even still, I think we're kind of our own team, and I think we're probably the most versatile tag team you could possibly find. So, yeah, I can't wait till he comes back.
Just a couple last things. You've gone to Japan a few times. Would you like to go back there sometime?
Oh yeah. I really like going to Japan. I started going over there for a small indie company called Wrestling Project in 2004. then went on to Zero One Max, and then I had many offers from different Japanese companies, but Saban and I ended up going to New Japan as a team. We had some success there, so man, I would love to go back, especially for New Japan. I want to go back for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yeah.
What is it about that so many guys kind of like when it comes to going to Japan and getting away from the United States, even for a short period of time?
I think a lot of it's just kind of the adventure and the thrill of traveling. Also, at the same time, you kind of get the chance to wrestle opponents you normally wouldn't. And for me, that's exciting, to be able to go in the ring with some of the best wrestlers in the world, but guys I wouldn't normally get to wrestle against. I think that's pretty awesome. And then to have the faith of New Japan Pro Wrestling to be able to perform at that level too, that's a bit of a confidence booster as well.
Thanks for the time. Alex Shelley taking place in the X Division title match at Hardcore Justice pay-per-view coming up on Sunday night.